Hey everybody, before I start this week's podcast, I had some great news to share with you. By the way, thanks for listening. We hope you're enjoying these shows. Right now, I want to share some big news. I just launched a brand new video podcast. That's right, a video podcast on YouTube and Spotify. If you get a chance, check it out. It's called the Tag Team Talent Podcast, the Tag Team Talent Podcast, and it shares videos of some amazing talent from all around the world. And if you have talent and you want to share it on this podcast, check out the website, www.tagteamtalentsearch.com. All right, thanks for listening to this message, and here's this week's podcast.
This is another episode of Standup Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome to this week's bonus show. Man, I have some funny stuff for you. Ever been to a dentist? Well, when you're a stand-up comic and you go to the dentist, you end up with some very funny material. Here's a good friend of mine out of Tennessee, Mack Dryden. He is not only a talented stand-up comic, he's a valued public speaker and had his own TV show back in the 80s called Comedy Break. And he is always wonderful. I'm sure you've heard his material and his interview on this podcast. But for this bonus show, Mac went to the dentist, and this is what came out. Enjoy.
Older we get, the more health issues we have to deal with, of course. I had to get a crown in recently. And for those of you who have not had that unique delight yet, it's a much bigger project than getting a cavity filled. First of all, they have to grind away about a half an acre of your skull. And so they have to deaden you completely from the third rib all the way up. All the way. Otherwise, halfway through the procedure, you would reach up on that tray and grab a sharp thing and just, can't take this. And so when I walked out of there, you know how you feel. It's just, my head, I couldn't feel anything. My head felt like a pot roast, kind of balanced on my shoulder. My tongue felt like a 2-pound salami in a wool sock. So when I got in my car, I wanted to get home as quickly and safely as I possibly could. Get into my PJs and start that bourbon IV, And so I get 2 blocks, and I realize school has just let out, and I'm behind the school bus. And, oh, boy, I'm getting steamed watching other people's lumbering, sluggish children taking their time getting across the street. I'm ready to blow, and finally they take a right, get out of the way, and I left a little editorial comment, Yeah, he got me. Right away, pulled me right over. License, registration. He said, Mr. Dryden, do you realize you were in a school zone when you popped that little wheelie back there? No, sir, I'm so sorry. That was just a really stupid thing to do. But, of course, what came out was, I'm so sorry. That was what a really stupid thing to do. He said, excuse me, and I'm thinking, instead of that dental floss and the toothbrush they gave me, they should have given me a card that says, I've just come from the dentist and my mouth is really numb. But, of course, I had to tell him, but my mouth was really numb. He said, have you been drinking? I said, no, I thought I haven't had the mouth. I'm stone cold sober. Look, I got a crown. He said, would you step out of the car, please, sir? I'm thinking, oh, great. If he makes me touch my nose, I won't feel it. I'll make a total mess of that, you know. Well, I'm getting out of the car. He's back there directing traffic around us, you know. And I'm getting out, and I notice that I've got a 2-foot spit rope. Handkerchief, an old T-shirt, anything, nothing. I got to wipe it on my jeans, you know. So I'm doing that, and he says, "Keep your hands where I can see them." He said, "What's that?" And I wanted to say, "Freshwater taffy. You want a little bit of it?" That would have made it worse, you know. I said, I just came from the dentist and my mouth was really numb. And he said, "Did you just come from the dentist?" I said, "Yes." And I hit him right under the badge with that glove. I couldn't believe it. And I reached him. I'm trying to wipe it off. I'm horrified. And that's when he pulled out the nightstick. Whang! Right in the top of my head. I didn't feel a damn thing. I thought, man, is that all you got? Oh, boy. Those tasers are impressive, though, aren't they? Man. After the crown and, paying bond, that was the most expensive trip to the dentist I've ever had, for sure. For sure. Thank you.
Mack Dryden, you know, when he was part of the comedy team, Mack and Jamie, he was very funny, but he's doing really well as a soloist, as you can tell by this material. I know next time you go to the dentist, you're going to think of some of this. Anyway, thanks for listening to this week's bonus show. Be sure to tell family and friends and rate us when you can. Thanks for listening to Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. We'll see you next week with one of our full episodes. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.